Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the SilverSilk segment of the Great Bead Extravaganza. This event is just so much fun. So great to see all the presenters do just a fantastic job, first of all. But the variety of projects and products that are available with just us 13 or so companies, it's just phenomenal. We each add a unique facet to this entire experience, and we just are so humbled and I think grateful for the support and the love that we get from this whole thing. So thank you. And for those of you who have no idea who I am, my name is Nealay Patel. I'm the owner, designer, and educator at SilverSilk and more, and I create the product and distribute it. I'm a one-man company. I do everything myself as far as to say I create the product, and then I cut it up into the spools, and then I package it, and then you guys order from me, and I am the person putting it in the envelopes, and I'm also answering emails. I've got a little bit of help with the social media because I try and do everything by myself, but a few things do get. I think I get sidetracked with stuff. So luckily, I've got some wonderful people in my corner that are helping me to spread the word on any sales events that are going on, classes that I teach, and any of just touching base with you guys. So um, that's my little company in a nutshell. I'm just trying to be a one man show. I don't foresee growing into a large company by any capacity. I think I would miss out on all of the creativity and fun and connection that I get to have with you guys. So for now, it's just me and the Great Beat Extravaganza group, of course. Now, because it's Tucson, I don't think I could do this without one thing that represents Tucson, but also something that I've had all this time since the inception of the Great Beat Extravaganza, and that would be my cowboy hat. Joan Dice, one of my Silky ambassadors, actually created a hat band using silver silk, and I just had to wear it. It just made perfect sense, right? So we have got a jam-packed show today, so I am not going to yammer on too much. I know for sure I wanted to talk about the pipe chain. And before we even get to that, a couple of things. First is, back by popular demand, I've got more of these grab bags in the store. This is priced at $25, but I believe what's jam-packed in here is well close to 50, just with the different types of scraps of silver silk that I have. If you are new to silver silk or don't know what to do with it or don't even know what to purchase, the grab bags are the way to go. They have a little bit of everything in it, and so you can kind of just product test out to see what you love. And then once you are hooked on it, because I think you will be, I hope you will be. But if you find that you love a certain product from this little bag of things, then you can shop on the store, of course. And my store address is right up there, silversilkonline.com, as well as my Silkies Facebook group if you're interested in even more silver silk inspiration. So I'm going to actually go ahead and toggle over to this beautiful little graphic that shows a representation of what we'll learn today. But as I mentioned, we've got a jam-packed show, and I'm going to try and cover as much as I can because I have got so many things to show you guys, including 3 demonstrations, 3 tutorials. So let's get into it. I have got all of this lovely, goody, yummy pipe chain is what I'm calling it. Now, before I even get into the examples, I'm going to show you what the product is. This is new to SilverSilk, very new to SilverSilk. It's not been done before. And what it is, it's a rubber tubing, colored rubber tubing that has stitched wire over it. And it's funny how this product just kind of fell into place for me. I don't know why I didn't think of it earlier, but things just happened for a reason. And then immediately when I did do it, I was like, this product has the most versatility I have ever been creating with. I think you don't need findings to complete a design, and you don't need a whole lot of materials to make something look expensive. But I will say the versatility to this just absolutely is the most fantastic aspect of it. Comes in 10 different colors. I've got bone. This is coral, hematite, Um, I've got peridot, amethyst, if you're a purple lover. We've got silver, which is on the black rubber tubing, which is just exquisite. This is aquamarine, malachite, which really has more of a turquoise flavor to it. So I wasn't really sure what to name it. It has more of a green turquoise, though, if that's the way that you want to think about it. But I thought malachite was just a perfect color name for it. I've got this bronzite, which is sort of a antique copper color. And then I've got tourmaline, which is a bright pink, almost borderline fuchsia, but not really. The gorgeous. I think the palette is just exquisite. Real quick, I forgot to also mention that I just knitted a new pearlesque color, which is the antique antique copper pearlesque chain, which has nothing to do with pipe mesh, but this is now online as well for those of you that love the pearlesque chains. And this has a little rainbow hint to it, which makes it that pearlesque look and feel. Beautiful. I think I had this sitting out thinking I was going to talk about it, but it's really one of those things I just wanted to flash it and let you know. So that's the entire collection of the pipe chain. Now let's get into what we can actually do with it, because you can string it through beading wire. And here's an example of that. I made this sweet little bracelet. It's such an easy, fun project to make. I believe I made it on one of my roundups, which I do on the SilverSilk Facebook page at 5 o'clock in the evening times on Tuesdays. Then that's 5 Central Time. But I just used some beading wire to string it right through, use some seed beads to make my little clasp and a little tiara cast button, and brought it out. So that's one way to do it. You can string it on wire and make yourself a wire piece if you're not a beading wire kind of person and you just love to work with craft wire. Well, this is another option to use it, as you can see there. So you can also knot with it. And here I kind of flashed this yesterday. And this is just using leather cord in 1 millimeter diameter. And I just used some more tiara cast components and some crystals and chopped up my little silver mesh into little beads and just knotted between them. So I just thought that was a really cool look and doesn't, again, take much to put it together. There's a lot of highlights and that dark color that run through some of the silver and antique silver tiara cast components. So the silver pipe chain is going to be a really perfect complement to any one of those types of findings. And you can also use memory wire, which I will show you an example of that here in a second. But let's do some craft wire first. I have got a little tray set up because we do have again, just a packed show. And I wanted to show you guys how to make this really cute little ring, which just comprises of a few materials, but I just thought that was so cool. It looks like it's floating. All of the, extra wires and stuff are just not there. So it really looks nice and crisp and well made. So I just wanted to show you how to do that real quick. All you need is some pipe chain. I'm going to use bone today for this, which is the antique white that is knitted over white rubber tubing. As you can see there, that is a bright white rubber tubing, but that antique color really brings it down and makes it into this beautiful bone colored material, almost ivory. What I'm going to do is grab some of my favorite craft wire from Softflex. This is 20 gauge in silver. And I'm just going to grab a pair of cutters, and I'm going to cut about 6 inches of that wire. And then I'm also going to grab my silver 26 gauge wire and cut about the same amount. Okay, also about 6 inches. And I'm going to set those to the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this ring as a template, and I'm going to cut my pipe chain to that length. So this is probably about 2.5 inches. I wish I had my ruler. I need a sweet little ruler like Jill McKay has that she's got from her mom, who was a school teacher. But I would say my parents were not school teachers, so I did not get a fancy ruler. But one of these days, I'm gonna have something cute like she does. So, what you have to do at this point is there's no escaping wire fuzzies. Okay, if you're familiar with my product, there is a term that I like to use that I call wire fuzzies, which means there are little wire remnant pieces when you cut the chain that you kind of pluck off. The reason for that is it just makes it easier to crimp and it cleans up the end quite nicely. And you still have to do that no matter what chain you get, and including the pipe chain. And you just pluck them off as best as you can. Okay, there we go. There's usually about 4 or 5 little wire fuzzies. And then you just kind of pinch the ends, and then that just is like nice and clean and ready to go. So what I'm going to do is grab both my pieces, and I'm going to go ahead and string it right through the chain as such. And I'm going to get my 2 little wire pieces here out of the way. And I want to make sure that I have enough here for my bead to pass through, which, by the way, I'm using, I don't even know what stone this is. One of my silkies actually sent me some stones, which was very sweet of them. But regardless of whatever stone you use, you want to make sure that it does meet the width of your finger. And in this case, this is perfect for me, which is about 1 inch. And if you're using smaller beads, like I don't know, 6 millimeter beads, you want to count enough of those beads to make up the width of your finger, and that's going to really make your ring just slide on quite nicely. So I'm going to get those 2 out of the way, and I'm going to create some little scrolls here at the end just for a little decorative touch, which would be that little profile right there. And so I'm going to grab my round nose pliers. Okay, and I'm just going to start to scroll it in. I am by no capacity a wire wrapping expert, you guys. This is new territory for me, as always, but I am just going to fake it till I make it. And sometimes my wire work turns out great, and sometimes it doesn't. In this case, I think the everything seems to be aligned. My stars seem to be aligning here, so that looks pretty good. I am going to break my neck, which means to twist it back, so that whenever I scroll up, you could see how nice and even my scroll is there. It's just a nice centered point of scrolling there. So that's perfect. I'm just going to push that right up against my pipe chain, and I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Now, the intimidating part here is like, I don't know really how much wire to have, so we're going to estimate a little bit, and I think I just need to clip off a little bit, and I am crossing my fingers that that is sufficient. But you could always unscroll it and re-scroll it if you want to. I got a little bit of a gap there. And that's a little bit too big, so I'm just going to trim a little bit of that off and re-roll and tuck that in. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now I can pinch with my chain nose pliers the whole scroll there and just work it around. Luckily, I love the Softflix craft wire. It is one of the softest wires I've ever used, and it does make this whole scrolling thing quite easy to do. So I broke my neck before I finished out my scroll. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is like working out for me today, and I'm just impressed with myself right now. Okay, so I have got 2 scrolls that are now facing in the same direction. You want them facing flat up like that. So what I'm going to do is bend my ring in the making, bend it around to get myself a nice little U shape. And at this point, I can string on my set of beads or just a bead. And I'm going to actually take one wire into it and then crisscross the other wire from the other side. Seems to be caught up in the bead, but I know it wants to go through. There we go. Okay, once I've got my wires crisscrossed, you can actually just pull those with your pliers. Oops, I'm gonna grab the right one. Okay, I'm gonna use my chain nose pliers. This is a very delicate operation. There we go. And once those are pulled through, you can actually just wrap around the scroll as such to lock it in place. I'm gonna switch my pliers here. I should be reading some of the comments that are coming in. I apologize, I haven't been monitoring any of those. There we go. Nicole says, nice technique. Thank you, Nicole. My friends say it's always good to impress yourself. I agree. Wholeheartedly agree. Let's see. So far, no big questions have been coming up, so that's good. Stephanie says, hi, Nealay and fellow Silkies. Hi, Stephanie. Always lovely to hear from you. And thank you for joining in the Great Bead Extravaganza. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Okay, so Denise is saying rubber tubing inside and metal chain on the outside. That's exactly right. And the metal chain, more specifically, is wire that is permanently enameled and non-tarnishing so that the color, this antique white color, is going to stay antique white for the rest of its life. Okay, once you wrap it around a couple times, you can clip that off and tuck in any of these extra little wire pieces right into the ring again. And I need to do that to this side. There we go. Okay, you can see just like it's just a nice clean end there, which I love. Okay, I'm going to clip off that side. Make sure that my wire isn't sticking out. There we go, and now we've got an instant little ring for days. I got all the rings, you guys. Look at that. A little bit loose for me on that end finger there, but you know, you get the idea. You can make them as small as you want, depending on the bead size that you want to use, and that is just one use for the pipe chain. So let's move on with our tutorials here. I have got for you a project using memory wire. I talked about this earlier, that this is yet again another type of stringing material that you can use to string on your pipe chain. Here's an example. This is just where I use some matte metallic chips and made myself a series of little bangles there. And I added these little end baubles for fun, but you can kind of layer them together if you want to and wear it as such. It just is, it kind of rotates on your wrist too, which is kind of fun. And they're easy to take off and take on, and you get a pop of color with that metallic sheen to it, right? So I'm going to demonstrate how to do that. Or if you're just into the minimalist look, which I wear this for me because I'm a very natural hematite kind of guy. And this is easy for me to take off and put on and not a lot of effort to put together. So these are all good things, right? There we go. Okay, let's see. I have got some memory wire. This is just a gold-plated color, I think, and I just got one ring. And then I've got some little beads here. I'm going to do a little rendition of this one, just adding a few more components just to kind of mix it up. And I saw someone had a question, so let me scroll to see if I can find it, and if I can't real quick. Then let's see. Sharon was asking, so you're able to tie knots? Not with the pipe chain because it's a little too thick to tie knots. But you can certainly tie knots between it. And I just strung the leather cord to it, which I'll show that again to you a little bit later. All right. So, okay. Didn't see the question, but that's all right. I can always scroll back and answer it later. I'm going to grab some of these 6mm beads and just have them rolling on my table there. Here again, I'm just using the hematite colored pipe chain, and I kind of pre-cut a length about maybe 2 inches or so, only because I knew that I wouldn't be able to measure it later. So I have that on hand. I'm gonna go ahead and take out any of my little wire fuzzy remnant bits there. Get that end nice and cleaned up. And cut myself a little length there. You can make a ton of these bracelets and just have them all stacked together, which I think would be really fun to wear. And super lightweight too, not to mention. So it wouldn't be weighty on your wrist, just because it is a unique type of chain that we're using here. Okay, I got 2 of these hematite pieces that are cut, and then I've got a hodgepodge of some tiara cast beads here. So I got these really cool little, oh, I don't even know what to call it, little columns. You guys see that? Really fun. So I thought I'd just do a little quick design using these beads, and I had a pattern in my head, and now I can't remember what it was, but that's okay. I think we'll start off with the column. And let's see. I think I want to move to doing the pipe chain. Just slides right through very easily. Oh, you know what I should do at the end, because my beads are going to fall out? I should go and make a little loop here. So let's do that. Memory wire can be a little tricky to work with. It is a tougher metal to bend, hence the memory part, right? And I am using gold because of my antique gold colored beads, and I didn't want to offset by using silver. So just one thing to consider as you're putting all this together. And then I'm going to string on this bead. No, actually, I'm going to string on another column here and another bead. And then I think I'll move into my my tiger's eyes there. I don't know, maybe we should string on 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Ooh, y'all, that's gonna look so good. I love that. Okay, let's see if we can wrap this little one up. I love that. I would totally wear this. Absolutely. Okay, and then my other side of my pipe chain. And then another bead. And then I gotta make my loop. And then I have a couple of little baubles that I'll show you guys what I had in mind to do with that. So I wanted to kind of have a little thing at the end. Okay, so I hate to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna use my cutters that I adore against the memory wire. But it seems to cut pretty efficiently. I actually had another pair of cutters that I was gonna use for it, but those are real crappy, so we're not even gonna go there. Okay, and then I'm ready to bend this around, but I have a little bit of extra slack there, so I'm just gonna cut that back off. These are actually like 8 to 12 years old now, somewhere in between. And so like, I guess like if they really do get ruined, which they haven't so far, and I've cut some pretty horrible things with them, I could just go shopping again, right? So there we go. I just have my little loops there at the end. And then you know what? I thought I could just attach a couple of baubles there at the end using these quick little jump rings. There we go. Look at that. Super cute. Little touch of unique, a little touch of Nealay, as I like to call it, I guess. I like to put odds and ends and just really pay attention to the finishings as I kind of put these things together. So there we go. You just saw me do that in like minutes, and just a cute little bracelet on the go. There we go. It's hard to show baubles on camera, believe it or not. And these two stack well together too, because they're kind of in that same color palette. It's just one's a little different than the other. But I think you guys get the point. So pause here and let's see what we're doing. What are you threading on the memory wire? Asks Linda. Well, that would be the pipe chain and some beads and some tiger's eye and tiara cast, which just makes for a really delicious color combo, don't you think? Sorry, I'm scrolling creepily at the camera because I'm actually seeing a slew of questions and comments come up. So you guys are so sweet, though. There we go. Sue says, "Great job, Nealay. Thank you." Yay! We're just in the middle of our demoing, so we've got quite a bit of fun stuff to go through, and I know this hurts me too. America. It's no, not the Lindstroms, but I will say the Lindstroms have held up so far, so I have faith in them. Oh, Colleen really helping out our Facebook, excuse me, our YouTube group here. So the flat mesh fans can get 25% off flat mesh with using the code TGBE Tucson at checkout. I did forget to flash that, so thank you, Colleen. And I've got a banner right here. If you use TGBE Tucson at checkout, you can get 25% off the flat mesh. So that sale ends on Sunday, tomorrow, after TGBE is all over, and I guess we'll have to plan a new one, won't we? All right. So you guys ready to get into our third demo? What do you think? Oh, Peggy says, question, will pipe chain accommodate heavier memory wire? So that's a good question and a bigger question at hand too. In fact, so the memory, excuse me, the pipe chain has a 1.5, I believe, or maybe even just 1 millimeter diameter that runs through the cording. So any of your stringing materials that are up to 1 millimeter should pass through quite easily. I'm thinking that the heavier memory wire might be around that same size, but I can't be too sure. So I might leave it up to you, Peggy, to test that theory out. That would be a really fun idea, though, I think. Okay, next demo. Let me put this aside. And I wanted to actually get to this because there's quite a few components and ideas that went into this, but I wanted to demonstrate it on a different stringing project altogether. This little tip here is going to blow your minds, though, I promise, because I started a little necklace on this side. It has all the same components. It's just, not layered into threes, but I'll break this down into its design components once I kind of go through this one. But pipe chain is a material that does have the ability, with this little trick that I'm going to show you, to follow the curvature of whatever you're trying to string it or whatever you're trying to drape. And the secret to that is, let me start by stringing all this stuff together first. I had this little pendant, actually, and I added a few jump rings here to get more of a bail there at the top. So I'm just using some soft flex wire, by the way. This is their citrine color in the medium size, and just another way to string the pipe chain, of course. But I just connected a bunch of jump rings together to make myself a little bail, and then I just started stringing some beads onto this. So let me start by putting on this burnt orange colored bicone. And then I'm going to string on this turquoise colored bead, and then I'm going to string on this stone. And then I'm going to string on this wood bead, or I don't actually, this is some sort of, I think it's petrified wood. I'm so bad at stones, you guys. There's other members in the TGBE group that are so like pros at the stones. And I know my chains, but I need to get my education on the stones. Okay, so let's go ahead and start by cutting off our pipe chain to the length that we need it, and then getting those little wire fuzzies out. So just go around and pluck them. Okay, those definitely came out, so that's great. Okay, so when you string this on and you realize like it might not be kind of curving to the same, this one seems to be because I guess I had it wound up. But this one was not curving in the direction that I wanted it to go, and it was kind of becoming a little bit of a problem because it didn't lay correctly. Well, you can take some craft wire and just go ahead and straighten it out to the best of your ability. And again, this is 20 gauge craft wire from Softflex, and I just have my little clippings off to the side in case I ever need them. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut it just under the length of what I cut my pipe chain as. And I'm going to stuff my pipe chain with it. And it'll just fall between the beads so that it won't come back out. But now I have the ability to create a little arch in my pipe chain, which helps with the curvature of the necklace. So now I can make it lay perfectly round as it is intended. And I can move about freely with my beading wire, and I'm ready to go with the rest of the stringing. So it looks like I've got some seed beads there at the end and mustard. So that little trick, in case you are wanting to have a more dramatic drape with the pipe chain, keeping in mind that the rubber tubing is already stiff, right? And then you add in wire knitting on top of that, and it does become very robust. It's a little bit hard to bend it and manipulate it. But if you stuff it with the right stuff, such as a craft wire, you can bend it to whatever direction that you want to. And this is an interesting factor for this pipe chain because I have yet to explore creating wire shapes for like earrings and for other types of bracelet components for pendants. So this is just, I guess, like for me, it's like just the tip of the iceberg of what this can do. It's super exciting. Okay. And now I've got my Softflex crimps. Then I'm ready to crimp the ends of those seed beads first. And then I do have a clasp on hand, believe it or not. For those of you who have not followed any of my tutorials, which, by the way, I do every other Tuesday over on the SilverSilk Facebook page and YouTube, I always never have a clasp. And I'm trying to change that this year. It's a New Year's resolution. I'm going to actually do a half crimp on each side first. That way everything is like nice and lined up. And then I'll go back in and finish out my crimping. That just looks so delightful, doesn't it, though? I love the colors on this. And the color that I used is bronzite, and I mixed it in with mustards. Ah! Did you see what I did? Ah! Killed my seed beads, y'all. Today was supposed to be non-violent. There we go. Luckily, I've got more. What was I saying? Now I just lost my train of thought. Okay, luckily I didn't crimp that, so it's not irreversible here. Woof. There we go. All right. This time I won't kill my seed beads, I promise. Perfect. Okay. Okay, anyway, I have got bronzite, I have got mustard, and I've got some pale greens and turquoise. So this is probably not the most fashion trend color right now for our season, but that's okay. You know what? I am a very earthy palette kind of guy and love my earthy colors, and I am going to just claim it for what it is. There we go. All right. So now you can just kind of measure out the ends. Oh my gosh. Isn't that stunning, you guys? It's the simplicity of it, but it really is just the pops of colors that do it for me. So now I just need a couple more crimps to finish out my ends there. Yes, so let me flash this little, here we go. Love the earthiness of your style. Thank you, sweet friend. And then I had another friend here that said, loving all the colors. So, Kristen said, such a great new product. Love the designs. Thank you, Kristen. And then Linda was saying Southwest colors. Absolutely. Because you know what? We are in Tucson right now, at least in our heads, right? I couldn't travel this year, but that's okay. I am there in spirit and cowboy hat and all. All right. 3 demos, you guys. This is crazy. It's crazy business. I was trying to prep for this as much as I could and try and get all of the details of my lesson plan here down. So hopefully I feel like I did an okay job, but you guys let me know if I needed to cover anything else here while we're at the end of our program, or if you guys have a pretty good idea of what the product is. If I've inspired you, don't forget we have a whole group called the SilverSilk Silkies over on the SilverSilk Facebook page. And you can also sign up for my text notifications if you really want to be in the know for SilverSilk and all the fun things that happen. All you have to do is just text hello to that number and you'll get an automatic notification. And all you have to do is just fill out your name, just so I know who I'm talking to whenever I send out my texts and stuff. But otherwise, that's a really good place to know the first stuff that comes out through SilverSilk. And then I've got email signups as well over on the website if that is your style. If you are not getting emails from me, it means it's probably in your spam inbox. And a good way to get on my email list is if you sign up for the giveaway, because that email does go out to our TGBE group members here. I know a lot of you are always interested in all of our products and stuff that we carry because it does directly correlate to our tutorials. So if you want to sign up for all the newsletters and all the products and stuff, and you might be lucky and get one of those giant gift bags giveaways, then do sign up for our TGBE giveaway. You can get one of 3 big prizes, and that's pretty good odds, I guess, for that sort of giveaway. I'm gonna hide that again. Ooh. Oh, Pamage is asking what gauge is the wire that you are crimping. So this is medium-sized beading wire, which looks like this. And my friends from Southwest were on just before me. So if you're really wanting to know more about beading wire, you can absolutely just grab some or watch that tutorial and then grab some from them. But otherwise, that's what I'm crimping with a clasp this time. For those of you who know how I like to carry on without a clasp. Oh, okay. I have to read this comment because this is always fun. I'm a newbie to beading and just found out about the Tucson Gem Show and would absolutely love to attend next year. So I have it on my calendar. Ditto, my friend. It is my goal as well. I'm so sad that I couldn't go this year. It's a lot, it's a lot to consider. And so I'm hoping next year we could even do a TGB event where folks who are traveling can sign up for our in-person event, come do classes or something with us. Oh, Mimi, my friend from Jupiter, Florida. I'm always truly impressed. I'm truly impressed with you always. 3 pieces, you are a rock star. Thank you, Mimi. She's one of my biggest cheerleaders. It's always good to have some of those for just carrying on for the business, I guess. Okay, so real quick, I used the same technique on this bottom layer of this design. I just got a few minutes here, so I'm going to wrap this up pretty quick here. But All I did was just string on all of my beads. I cut them up into smaller tubes, and you can cut it anywhere on the wire. It's not going to fray, which I think is also another cool facet of this product, and all of the SilverSilk chains actually. And then I strung all 3 strands of the citrine into a crimp bead, and then just braided it together. And I'm ready to crimp the ends as I need to do there. But otherwise, the same stuff follows. So if this was actually straight to begin with, and then I put a piece of wire in it and bent it, and boom, I got my curve that I needed. So that is what I have for you guys, and I'm gonna do one last scroll through some of these questions. If you guys have any about the chain, let's see. Okay, so here's one question about the flat chain. What is the width of the flat chain? And that is about 5 millimeters. It's a good question, though. And it's got a wide knit inside of it so that it's easy to string stuff through it. And in fact, you can go over to my YouTube, and I've got quite a library of flat mesh projects out there that you can. I mean, it's really one of those, again, it's just one of those things that I've just hit the surface with, but I've been able to string craft wire and beading wire and just other types of stringing materials through the flat mesh to create different textures, different designs, different styles. So it's always a fun time. And again, the YouTube channel is just a gigantic library of ideas. And I go through the tutorials very specifically on there. So anywhere between 16 and 20 minutes, you'll have a finished product or project using the products. All right. Well, I know you guys, many of you are in it to win it today. So I'm going to let you out a little early, and I'm just so humbled. I got to hang out with you guys, show you guys a cool product, just chat with you a little bit. I think we'll be in an more intimate setting next week, I believe, is when we have our next Tuesday tutorial for SilverSilk plus our roundup. And so this is a good time for us to get together and really chat about stuff. And I do answer questions and stuff on there too. In this case, it's flooding with questions and a lot of just wonderful comments from you guys. And I really appreciate that. It means that I'm heading in the right direction for the SilverSilk journey. The TGBE group thanks you because you guys are amazing supporters and truly believe in the power of small business and keeping the creativity and artistic spirit of it all alive. And you guys are artisan supporters, and this is just so incredibly important for humanity to keep creating. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. We are on the SilverSilk journey with you. Giving me all the feels, you guys. Giving me all the feels. All right. Well, I want to thank especially Joan, Dice, and Colleen Joan is over on YouTube, on Facebook, and Colleen is over on YouTube, and they were answering some questions there, and I love you both for that. Teresa and Gretchen, of course, my brand ambassadors, who are there answering daily questions and bringing those to my attention. So thank you 3 for being in SilverSilk's corner and really helping the brand elevate and stay open and up to date, current, answering all the questions for you guys, the Silkies out there. So I leave you guys creative, hopefully inspired, and I'll just see you again at the next show or at Roundup or my Facebook tutorials. And I love you guys so much. Thank you. Thank you so much again. Mwah. Big hugs to you.